Leading on from this, three of our senior prefects are now going to give us a brief insight into one or two areas of school life which have had an impact on them throughout their time at Merchant Taylors. I hope that their comments will give you a flavour of the ways in which boys benefit from the activities, both extracurricular and academic, which we offer. Vias Burrow will share with us his experiences of academic stretch and his impressive musical achievements. Then Michael O'Sullivan is going to continue with some comments on the CCF and the Duke of Edinburgh Award Scheme. And Matthew Johnson will conclude with some comments about sport, and in particular triathlon. Vias.
As I embark upon my 14th and final year as a student at Merchant Taylors, yes, they have clung on to me till now, I've constantly been able to reminisce about my journey of development, from a shy 4-year-old who was carried screaming into his classroom back in 2004 to who I am today. Although I may not remember much about Stanfield, apart from winning a hockey medal for some strange reason, you'd see me now as an integral member of the hockey team, or learning that the number 8 isn't in fact simply two circles stuck on top of each other, the school has certainly left its mark upon me. My first steps in the Merchant Taylors journey definitely laid a concrete foundation for the development of not only my academia, but also my traits as an individual. My parents and all my teachers have been crucial in aiding me along the way, and I owe them a great deal of gratitude. One key point to note about Merchant Taylors is the fact that the emphasis is on a well-rounded individual and not just academic robots. We are all exposed to music, sport, and drama from a very early age, since reception in my case. The memory of playing rugby in Year 3 on the muddy field in the midst of torrential downpour, whilst the PE staff comfortably relaxed under umbrellas, will never leave me. As many of you will probably know, it wasn't sports, but music that really struck a chord with me, so to speak. There are countless boys having music lessons in school for their chosen instrument, some on a generous scholarship, entitling them to up to free 40 minutes tuition every week. I myself was fortunate enough to undertake training in playing the euphonium, that very famous instrument which I'm sure you all would have heard of. I've had lessons at school since I was 7, and along the way, I've joined a few of the school's instrumental bands, and this has led to extremely memorable experiences. One such experience would be performing here on this very stage with the swing band for the Merchant Taylors Company Associated Schools concert in 2015. This was a magnificent event, bringing together 300 pupils from 11 schools in the Merchant Taylors family from across the country for a night of showcasing talent. Such events have been invaluable for me, and I believe that the opportunities that the school has given me have greatly assisted in my achievement of a diploma in music performance from ABRSM, along with getting me into the National Youth Brass Band of Great Britain. Of course, and I'm talking to the boys here, if you have a chance of taking up an instrument and you go to a school like this, then if I were you, I would seize it as much as possible. There's a multitude of instruments that you can take up, from piano to woodwind, percussion, voice, strings, and guitar. I would highly recommend that you take up a new instrument and give it a shot. You may just end up playing it for the rest of your life. The abundance of music staff at Merchants pays testament to the sheer variety available at the school, complementing the school's academic excellence. Now, moving away from music, drama is another very popular cultural feature of the school. Past productions such as Grease, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and Our Day Out have been huge successes and involve true dedication from the actors, musicians, and directing staff, along with collaboration between the boys and girls schools. The joint schools are currently acting in the musical Return to the Forbidden Planet, as a snippet of which you shall see in a short while, with performances today and tomorrow. If you haven't booked your tickets already, I highly recommend you do so. One newly thriving aspect of school life is voluntary work. On Wednesday afternoons, instead of doing games, there is an option to volunteer at various locations, including a local primary school. Although, admittedly, this may not be as physically strenuous as sports, it does offer an alternative method of development. By interacting with individuals and tasks that they may not be accustomed to, pupils are able to develop their social skills, and this can yield many benefits for the future. I myself volunteer at the Walton Neurocentre and a local care home on Wednesdays, and this has offered me a valuable insight into the profession of caring for others. I've been able to experience firsthand primary and secondary healthcare, and this has not only allowed me to make an informed decision about my career, medicine for those of you who hadn't guessed already, but has also allowed me to move out of my comfort zone, shaping me into a more empathetic individual overall. Speaking on a personal level, I believe that combining academic excellence with the development of the whole individual is truly the ethos of this school, and has made me into who I am today. I feel as though I'm much more mature than I used to be, although some of you will disagree with me that, I'm sure. I owe a lot to this school and its teachers, and I'm certain that the skills that I've learnt over the years will positively impact upon my future. After 14 years here, I will most certainly miss this school, but I'll definitely not forget it. I'll now hand over to Michael, who will talk to you about the Duke of Edinburgh's award scheme and the combined cadet force.
What comes to mind when you think about the Duke of Edinburgh's award and the CCF? Probably mud, marching, maps, miserable weather, and Mr. Mackay. Yes, it's true, you will experience all of these things at some point. However, there is so much more to be gained from these programmes, as I have discovered over the last 4 years. Loyalty, integrity, discipline, courage, respect, and selfless commitment are the core values of the combined cadet force. These are the values that a cadet aims to acquire by being a member of the Merchant Taylors CCF throughout their school career. Being in a challenging environment like this and gaining hugely important life skills has made my time as a cadet extremely enjoyable and rewarding. Likewise, the Duke of Edinburgh's award is also a fantastic way to gain these skills, and I have found that the CCF and DofE complement each other extremely well. It is understandable, though, that some people may want to take part in DofE and not CCF. So it is worth me mentioning that you don't have to be a part of one to be a part of the other. My best advice, though, would be to give both a go, as you don't realise how much fun they are until you've experienced them. In Year 9, I joined the CCF as a nervous new recruit, with no idea of the fantastic opportunities that lay ahead. 4 years later, I'm now a sergeant, responsible for leading the latest batch of new recruits and passing on the skills that I've learnt. CCF takes place weekly after school. However, throughout the year, there are many more training exercises, the highlight of these being annual camp at the beginning of the summer holidays. This is a week packed full of activities ranging from shooting to ambushes to orienteering and adventure training. On last year's camp, I was given the role of platoon commander, responsible for leading 30 cadets. The week's most challenging activity was the overnight exercise. We managed to successfully achieve our mission of ambushing the enemy, but then faced the even greater threat of spending the night being eaten alive by midges. Thank goodness for insect repellent. After a surprisingly good night's sleep in a basher, which for those who don't know is essentially a tent without sides, any early morning grogginess soon dissipated thanks to a very loud wake-up call courtesy of Sergeant Major Brett. The crackle of rifle fire in the morning is enough to wake even the laziest of cadets. I've had an incredible time as a member of the Merchant Taylors CCF, and have learnt many invaluable skills, such as leadership, teamwork, organisation, and of course, how to get the perfect shine on a pair of boots. Many of these skills have been further developed as a result of my participation in the Duke of Edinburgh's award. The scheme is designed to take you out of your comfort zone and build confidence, resilience, and learn to be independent. Believe me, having allowed my mum to pack 3 spare sets of everything for my first expedition, I quickly learned that getting organised and doing my own packing will quite literally take the weight off my shoulders. During October half-term, I was lucky enough to complete my final gold expedition in the Pyrenees. Despite the teachers telling us many times before the expedition, I don't think any of us realised how much of an incredible opportunity this was. We hiked for 4 days, camping in the wilderness and carrying all our provisions. It was surprising how quickly we got used to the lack of facilities. Even the natural toilets didn't seem to faze us. The walking was tough going with many steep climbs, although the stunning views that we were greeted with at the top made it all worthwhile. It was a welcome change from the usual view of foggy Wales that we get from the top of Moel Famau. At the end of the expedition, we caught the train to Barcelona, where hot showers and flushing toilets felt like a real luxury. We had a great last day sightseeing, an amazing end to an amazing expedition. The whole group shared a fantastic sense of achievement, having successfully navigated our way across the Pyrenees. knowing this was an experience we will never forget. I should thank Mrs. Taylor, Dr. Bushman, and Mr. Mackay, but without them, this incredible opportunity wouldn't have been possible. The CCF and Duke of Edinburgh's Award have been a huge part of my school life, and I can honestly say that I've enjoyed every minute of it. These programs have allowed me to make friends that I'm sure I will have for life and gain skills that you just don't get elsewhere. To those in the lower school who are unsure on whether to sign up, I would wholeheartedly advise you to give it your best shot and surprise yourself. I'll now hand over to Matthew, who will talk about sporting opportunities at Merchant Taylors.
It's no secret that Merchant Taylors is one of the most successful schools in the Northwest at rugby and cricket. I'm not going to lie, I'm shocking at both, much to my parents' disappointment. However, luckily for me, and possibly for you, sport here stretches beyond these two disciplines. Joining Merchant Taylors in Year 7 as a swimmer, I had a very blinkered view and envisaged my sport and life as being solely spent in the school pool. Instead, what I found within my first few years was that as well as being given a platform on which I could succeed in swimming, I was encouraged to embrace the wide variety of sports on offer at Merchants, engaged in activities ranging from the annual dreaded cross-country, which I'm sure most will be delighted to hear is coming up, to Gaelic football. The school has the excellent ability of identifying potential in students, not just by natural talent, but by the hard work and dedication. As a result of reflecting these characteristics, I was persuaded by Dr. Bushman to take up triathlon, another sport to add to the list, and a daunting option at the time. The first time I took part in the game session, I found myself struggling to keep up with the pack, as I fell behind, gasping on my dad's old mountain bike. Surprisingly, I was still urged to continue. This is typical of the school's ethos. Just because you didn't succeed in the beginning does not mean you should give up. It's important to seize these opportunities provided by the school in order to reach your full potential. You have no idea where it could take you. I certainly didn't. Continuous support from the staff, combined with the school's outstanding facilities and a new bike, led to a rapid improvement in the other areas of my triathlon, running and cycling. The factor which stood out most to me during this period was the infectious drive from fellow pupils and staff, which pushes you through the toughest times in training, providing a sense of belonging. Believe me, make use of it. Within less than a year, I was being asked to participate in triathlons as part of the school team, furthering my racing experience, another opportunity I'm sincerely grateful for. 6 months down the line, having fully grasped the sessions provided with two hands and increased my training load to over 10 times a week, I was competing again and qualified for the GB age group team and later joined the Northwest Triathlon Academy. It's now, when I look back on my sporting career at Merchant Taylors, that I can truly thank the school for how it's assisted me. A mutual relationship between the pupils and staff, consisting of grit and perseverance, has pushed me to fulfil my goals, and it can help you as well. Without the school's emphasis on expanding the sport and curriculum of their pupils, I would have never been in the fortunate position I'm in now, as I would have never even considered attempting triathlon. Sport at Merchant Taylors provides so much more than just a bit of fitness. Although having to wake up to the relentless ringing of my alarm at 4:30 most mornings to dive into the pool is exhausting, the mental resilience gained from this repetitive task has allowed me to push my boundaries and increase my workload in day-to-day life. For each triumph in sport, there will always be failures along the way, but here at Merchants, we're taught to use our failures to our advantage. This characteristic is enabled to quickly brush off failures, focus on the present moment, both in the classroom and out, another skill you will also find highly beneficial. It's traits like these which I believe can truly be nurtured during sport. So, I suggest every pupil in this room uses the school's extra-wide sport and curriculum as a foundation for success. No matter which field you want to go into, no matter what level you are right now, you will be close to your goals if you use the school as a tool for success. Carpe diem, seize the day.